Hey, this is GatorX and I love Pokemon. I'm beyond excited for Sword and Shield, but I cannot excuse the lame box art that has plagued the main series franchise since the beginning of time. Every single release, it's the same thing where they slap a PNG of the signature Pokemon on the front and call it a day. That's not to diss the actual drawings themselves. Ken Sugimori's renderings of each Pokemon are so nice and clean, and they can easily be used on websites to clearly denote a specific Pokemon. But because it's used so frequently, it makes the box art feel like nothing special. The video game box art discussion is a pretty deep one, but in my opinion, good box art is basically an advertisement for the game and should do two things. 1. Represent the game experience to the best of its ability, while 2. Making the viewer ask questions. I feel the second criteria at times is more important and should help tie back to the first. Let's look at a recent Nintendo game for example. On Breath of the Wild's box art, you can see that the title includes Zelda, so you might then ask questions like, is this Link? It looks like Link, but a little different. Look at this huge open space. Do I get to explore all that? Is it Hyrule? Boom, simple as that. You're enticed in the game and you want to play it. And your gameplay experience is pretty accurately represented by the image you saw. Now, this strategy of using simple images of Pokemon worked in the past, with the first games when Pokemon were brand new. The questions that arose were, what is that thing? Do I have to fight it? Do I get to play with it? This was a great way to entice people into this new franchise known as Pokemon, and the Pokemon you see on the front could very easily be the one that you use throughout your entire journey. Now, going into Gold and Silver, as Pokemon was a pretty established franchise at this point, using Ho-Oh and Lugia on the covers worked out as well. Since their designs were new and unique, questions might have been, whoa, is that a new Pokemon? It looks special, do I get to catch it? But I'm sure you can see that as the games went forward, the wonder and amazement produced by a single image of a Pokemon had died down. We know that yes, this is a new Pokemon, and yes, we'll be able to catch it. And I totally understand why they do this, it's for clarity. Because Pokemon games are released as two separate versions, they need to be clearly marketed as different games. The Big Blue Whale is obviously very different from the Big Red Dinosaur. But I still think that we could at least use some cool artwork. Promotional artwork of the box legendaries is released all the time. Swap that out for the old ones and boom, bit of an improvement. Something as simple as some action within an environment makes the box art feel a little more alive and in a way a better representation of the game. I think the real issue with the box art of the Pokemon games is that they have to be split among two different versions. If we can get to the point where each generation is only a single game, we can start working on the box art. Going back to the promotional artwork that's made for these games, I think that would be great. What if Ultra Sun and Moon were instead a single game, Pokemon Prism, or heck, even Pokemon Ultra Prism? We can take this artwork and use it as the box art. By this point, we'd know about Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma, so it would communicate that this is a Generation 7 Pokemon game while posing questions like, oh dang, is that Necrozma? What's he doing? Is he fighting the legendary Pokemon? Why are his hands glowing? Seriously, just take your pick of any of these promotional art pieces and slap it as the box art for your favorite generation and you're good. I feel like I should say that Pokemon spin-off games don't typically have the best box art either. Throwing every character or Pokemon on the cover works when you're using it to show off the graphics, but usually it can look a little bit dull and or cluttered. I think the Mystery Dungeon series started off with some of the best box art for any Pokemon game. It's an artistic representation of the gameplay while still being packed with, well, mystery. And I mean the original two box arts even connect, isn't that cool? I think that really the box art of Pokemon games just isn't a priority. The games themselves as well as the entire yearly experience of Pokemon is what matters the most, as we see all the effort put into it, especially with the recent Pokemon Worlds. Ultimately, box art is a very small piece of the grand scheme of Pokemon. But for me, when I think of Pokemon, I couldn't describe it to you using a single image of a stationary Pokemon. I would have to show you something like this to get my point across. Pokemon is a community where people and Pokemon come together to explore and adventure while building our bonds even stronger than they were before. And I would just love for the box art of the game to maybe reflect that a little better. But anyway, that's been it for this little discussion on the box art of the Pokemon games, so let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you fine with the current box art we have, or would you like to see it improved, and in what ways do you think it could be improved? Leave a comment below and we'll continue the discussion down there. If you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking the bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out and will make you a member of the Chingling Squad. Anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.